Yo, hey guys, SmallmouthCrush. This video is going to be all about my brand new 2025 Caymas CX21. Here she is, little bear right now. We gotta get some electronics on it, a trolling motor. We gotta get the power poles. We got a lot of work to do, but I picked it up from Thayer's down here in Connecticut. Kit Richie, as usual, hooked me up. This is my third Caymas. I love this boat. We're going to be wrapping some things up here. And then we got to take this up to Steve at BassFishin Electronics up in New Hampshire, where he's going to be rigging this thing out. I trust him to do all my work. He does a great job, but we're going to do a little bit before and after. And then the next couple clips, we'll actually be picking the boat up from Steve once that's ready. And we'll talk about all the work that they did to put this boat together. All right, Steve, what's going on, man? I got the boat today. Unbelievable job as always. You guys are amazing as far as the rigging. Everything looks neat and clean. Very impressive. What do you think of this piece of artwork here?
Yeah, I don't know if even artwork covers it, what we get going on here. I think this probably takes the cake on all the rigs we've done so far. You guys are going to see a full overview here pretty soon, but pretty impressive setup, multiple live scopes, 360s, some 16-inch graphs, pretty cool stuff. This one kind of shows off all of our ability and knowledge that we have here at BFE, you know, so we're really excited to show this one off to you.
So how many years now have you been doing this?
So we've officially been in business 5 years this year. We've been going full time for a couple years now. It's pretty awesome to see how the local community and guys from far away have taken in. I mean, you yourself coming from 7 hours away. You know, we got a lot of guys coming from Pennsylvania, Virginia, kind of all up and down the East Coast. And it's pretty cool because we can get you in on a Monday. And if we know you're coming from super far away, we can turn you around in a day or two. Worst case, boat comes in Monday and you're out on Friday.
So not only do you rig boats, but you also sell a lot of the stuff that guys can do themselves as well. And there's a lot of accessories that you sell. I guess what are some of the hot items that you carry right now? You know, how's that process work if someone wanted to look into some of the extras that you do carry?
Yeah, so we've not only been focusing on our local installs, but we've really been paying a lot of attention, putting in a lot of time to our website. So you can go over to BassFishinElectronics.com. This year, we've been trying to grow our BFE brand significantly. We're listening to our customers. You know, all this technology is constantly evolving, so we're making new jack plate brackets. One of our biggest sellers right now is a Power Pole and Raptor lights. You know, we've got some nice dual and triple mounts for guys with older boats. You know, just we're constantly looking to innovate and add new products.
All right, here's some of the additional accessories that you have. A light for the Raptors, as well as the power poles, your mounts. This thing's actually pretty cool. I think everyone that runs, I mean, if you're serious about fishing, you spend as much days as we do on the water, you're either going to fling a blade or something's going to happen. It's nice to have a spare prop. That's a prop holder. And then these are the transducer mounts, protectors.
Yeah, jack plate mounts.
So as we walk up to the front of the boat here, you can see this year I went with the Minn Kota Quest based on your recommendations. I mean, there's a lot of good trolling motors out there, but you kind of persuaded me to give this a try, and I'm super excited. It's an extremely beefy piece of equipment.
Yeah, so this is kind of, you know, the most complicated, complex setup that you're going to see on this boat here. A lot of effort went into this. You know, it doesn't look crazy once it's all done, but you know, when you're configuring a Mega 360 and 3 live scopes on one trolling motor, there's a significant amount of thought that has to go into this so nothing hits. You know, we want to get the least amount of interference possible. So if we just start up here, we've got this cool dual mount here from Foresight. They kind of worked with us on this, and we kind of worked together, and you've got, you know, a mount here for your Foresight. This is your motorized pole mount. This is going to be something new for you this year. Different brand. I mean, you had the Cornfield last year. We're excited about this one because it's not gear driven, it's belt driven, so it's a lot quieter, a lot more reliable. So we've got that here. And you come down here and you see all of this is stabilized. You know, we know you're going to be fishing out in big water on the St. Lawrence, and so we've got a 360 stabilizer and an adjustable BFE stabilizer for your Foresight. This is going to just keep all this stuff nice and solid out on the lake. And then as we come down below this, this is a little bit different for you this year. You've got LVS34 here on the pole mount. That's going to be ideal for when you're spot locked and you want to, you know, shine on those boulders, whatever you're fishing. And then the biggest new addition here is this LVS62 transducer. So you can see this thing is huge. The coolest part about the 62 is the range that you can get with it. So as you see here, we've got this set in perspective. I've personally been playing around with this, and it's just really nice because you don't get any interference between the 62 and the 34, and that's a huge advantage that people don't really realize yet. So you're going to be running the Quest this year, and the factory Garmin mounts that are included with the transducers don't fit around this bigger shaft of the Quest. So if we look here, we've got your 62 on a Fish Obsessed mount, and that Fish Obsessed is actually machined to fit the Quest shaft. Fish Obsessed doesn't officially recommend, they don't have a specific mount for the 62 yet, so we've taken the factory Garmin mount and used that in conjunction with the Fish Obsessed. I've been running this for about a month or so now, and it's working out great. And then we come down here and we put your 34 on the lower unit of the Quest just for spacing purposes. This is just a factory mount that comes with the Garmin, but it just allows us to fit all these transducers into a small platform.
And then I see on the pole as well, that would be, is that?
Yeah, so that's a Fish Obsessed 0 degree. That 0 degree is the biggest reason that we go to a Fish Obsessed, because that gives you a straight cone when you're shooting out, and you can track your bait and the fish all the way back to the boat.
And one thing that I'm really impressed with all this going on is the detail in the cable management, right? I mean, you guys tested this. We dropped the trolling motor down. We spun it around. Nothing hits, although it looks very close to everything. Yeah. Everything is smooth. Everything works great. So that's really important. And I mean, just special detail. I mean, even lining up the 360 and doing these little marks, you can see, and we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail, but even labeling the transducers, 1 dot here, 2 dots there, 3 dots somewhere, 3 dots there. I mean, it's the small things that when I have to go through stuff on the graph and want to change some settings, like, or let's say we have an issue with a black box. I don't know what's going to what, but everything's labeled and perfect. So to me, that's what gets me going, because I like organization, labeling, and making sure at least I have an idea. I might not know how to take something apart, but at least I know what's broken, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest deals, you know, our biggest focus when you come here and you know, you're getting a premium service, and we want you to have a premium result. Everything's going to be, you know, neatly ran. We've got cable keepers here, you know, that we make in-house to make sure that your cables don't pinch. These flex root connectors you mentioned. And then, like you said, that's the biggest overlook. If you go to a big marina, you go to, you know, your big box store or whatever, you're not going to get the knowledge and the organization that you get here with all this being labeled. You know, like you said, we got dots on there. You can go right inside the rod locker, find exactly which black box each transducer is going to, and allow you to easily troubleshoot. And in turn, we take it a step further. And, you know, when you first came in here, we were talking about the software aspect of it in your Garmin units, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll show the guys that in a little bit, but you'll see in the software we've labeled each transducer, and that way when you're shuffling through your 3 live scopes on the screen, it's all labeled and you know exactly which one to go to. So that's the troll tamer. So that's a critical part of any trolling motor install we do, especially for a guy like you that's going to be fishing big water. And we also take that one step further as well. They give you little number 10 sheet metal screws with that mount. That's no good. That's just going to pull out of the deck. It's going to ruin your deck. We get in these boats, we drill them out, and we through bolt them with nice fender washers underneath, and that way there's no way that's going to pull out on you. Yeah, so up here on the front, we've got the all new Bass Boat Technologies triple hood style mount. That may be a small detail to most people. You know, what's a hood mount? You know, Van over at BBT is constantly innovating his mounts. You guys don't even know it, but he's just constantly making changes. And if we look at this mount here, we have a pivot point right here. And that pivot point, you just simply take these four, you know, 2 bolts here, 2 bolts on the other side. I'm sorry, 3 bolts. So you got 6 bolts that hold that in. You take those out, and this whole mount will just flip up and give you easy access to your bow. That's huge for anybody that's had to get in there before. You know, you don't have to take that whole entire mount apart to access your cables. And just another small detail, you know, Van's always listening, opening to ideas. We came to him on the triple bar here. We were seeing a little too much flex, so we suggested rolling this edge like we have on some of ours. And just that little small detail where the edge is rolled adds a ton of rigidity to your mount. So you're not going to get that flexing in the big water with these huge graphs on here.
So you can see this year we did things a little bit differently with the graphs. I used to run 2 12s. We went with the, what is that, the Garmin 1643? Yeah,
so this is an all new model from Garmin. Pretty excited about this because the only 16-inch option they had before was the 86-16, 84-16. It's a real high-end $6,000 unit. Garmin just released this new 1643 this year. Basically the same exact platform. You get the same screen resolution. There's a few features missing that you didn't have in the 86. None of those features pertain to what you're doing. So for live scope mapping, all that stuff, this is a great unit. It's going to save you $1,000 over that 86-16.
So at the steering wheel here, we got the Humminbird Helix 12, and we got the Garmin 1243, and those are mounted on the Bass Boat Technology mounts as well.
Yeah, so this is another cool thing about Van over at BBT, right? This is a brand new console for this year for Caymas, which we're super excited about. The old consoles had a ton of plastic on them. You know, it was very difficult to mount to. This one's got a nice flat fiberglass surface. You know, this is just a really good change for Caymas. We're super excited about it. And with that being said, I think you probably have one of the first models of this new console. And you can see right here, Van has already got you a mount. I mean, it's unbelievable how quick he is and just constantly staying in touch with these manufacturers and innovating and adapting to these new changes. So this thing is just super rock solid and just another great addition from Bass Boat Technologies.
All right, let's head back here. The main power station here. Of course, we got the lithium batteries that I'll talk a little bit more about in detail, but let's talk about some of the rigging back here as well.
Yeah, so back in the back, I mean, that's where we want to, you know, that's where everything starts, right? That's your power for your units, your power for your trolling motor, and we're adding a lot of stuff in here, so we got to be careful about how we organize and make all this stuff fit. So, you know, we take the extra step, we move things around, we create starboard plates. Your power pole charge is on a custom starboard plate that we added into this boat just to give us some more room. And if we start here on the cranking side, we've got 2 lithium batteries here in parallel. That's going to give you 200 amp hours to power all these graphs and live scopes. You know, we run our own BFE harness in here. You can see that right here. That's going down to a breaker and a switch. So you've got a dedicated circuit just for your console graphs and your bow graphs, and that just ensures no voltage drop and clean power to everything, you know, just to eliminate any interference and all that you have going on. We come over here to the trolling motor side. Again, we've got 2 batteries in parallel. These are 36 volt lithiums, 50 amp hours a piece, so we put those in parallel, gives you 100 amp hours. Keeps everything nice and clean. You don't have 3 batteries, you've only got 2. Power pole charge can handle this no problem. We just go in, configure the charge for the correct amp hours. And then, you know, with this organization, we're able to squeeze this BFE prop holder in here. That way, you know, you've always got that. It's rugged, it's aluminum. You don't have to worry about things bouncing around. And as you can see, you still got access down to your pumps.
Yep, and I see we also did 2 of the through-hull transducers.
Yep, so you get a Garmin and a Humminbird in there. That way you can decide which one you want to get your on-plane readings from, and you'll see the same thing back at the back on the jack plate.
So we installed the power pole blades, the 10-footers. Amazing installation job. This is a really clean setup, and you look at how everything just is perfect when it comes into the back of the boat here. and everything runs along here. So talk about this setup.
Yeah, we just, you know, these are the small things that we do here. We make custom little hydraulic hose plates. Just gives you a cleaner look, keeps everything nice and organized. And that way you don't have a bunch of sloppy holes or whatever, just the hoses. It just keeps everything nice and neat. And then also you shine up to your power pole over here and you've got your BFE anchor light as well. That's probably one of our top sellers right now. It's just super convenient, right? You can just hit the switch on the dash, turn the light on, don't have to worry about putting a pole in. And we do leave the base here active, you know, that works in conjunction with the light, so you can still run your light if you had to, or your GoPro power, whatever.
Well, I'll tell you, with my 10-foot poles last year, I hit the garage door and it actually put a dent in the garage door, but not the light. So that was, I guess that thing is pretty sturdy, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a big focus for us. You know, we're not sending any of our BFE brand products like that light. None of that's going over to China. It's all staying here in the US. Aluminum, super rugged stuff. This isn't any big manufacturing process. You know, a lot of the stuff's handmade, so attention to detail is huge for us, and we want that to be able to hold up. If you do smash it off the garage or the dock or whatever it is, we want that to keep going. This year we've kind of streamlined all of our jack plate mounts. Now you see that L bracket you have there has 2 slots in it. That's a new change for us, a minor change, but it makes it more convenient on the customer side. It allows you to utilize those splash well bolts from the Bobs and the TH Marine. You only have to drill 1 hole at that point. I think we're one of the only ones in the market that have that slotted piece on the jack plate that allows you to really get that angle dialed in and get the best side imaging possible. And the cool part about these changes we made this year is you have 1 L bracket that interchanges with a Humminbird, Garmin, and Lowrance. So we just kind of streamline everything and made it simple. You ever upgrade down the road, you're not buying a whole new mount, you can just buy the bottom piece.
So I'm going to talk about one of the most important parts of this boat, the batteries itself. So I run lithium batteries. These batteries are from Linek, and it's really important to have the right setup when you're running everything I have, right? We got 5 graphs, we got 3 Livescope transducers, we got your 360, you have your Foresight Pole. I mean, there's a lot going on here. And so I wanted to make sure I have enough power. And I've been running these particular lithium batteries now for 2 years. I wanted to give them a try last year in my old Caymas, and they worked perfectly for me. And so again, I went with Linek batteries this year. On my trolling motor, I run 2 36 volt in parallel. They're 50 amp hours, so I get 100 amp hours for the trolling motor. So that's just for the Minn Kota Quest. Plenty of power. I can run them all day. I don't have any issues. And I've definitely put them to the test the last couple of weeks. And as expected, they work great. For the cranking batteries, I'm running 2 100 amp hour in parallel. And that's going to give me enough power to power this whole setup here. They also make battery chargers. There's a lot of different batteries that they do offer. In the description below, I'll actually have their website listed. I encourage you guys to check them out. They support me. I encourage the viewers to support them if you're looking for a new battery, or you're looking at getting rid of the old lead acid batteries and going to lithium. I definitely recommend Linek batteries for that. So one of the main benefits of going with lithium is going to be your weight. They're very light compared to lead acid batteries. The fact that I only have 4 batteries in here for this setup is perfect. You can certainly get by with 1 36 volt battery for your trolling motor needs in most situations. You'll be able to fish all day on that. That's not an issue. With your graphs and your starting batteries, with this type of setup, I recommend 2. But again, there's going to be certain situations where you're not running as many graphs, and you can certainly get away with 1 12 volt 100 amp hour battery. But one of the other benefits is going to be just your life cycles. I think it's 5 times longer life cycle than lead acid batteries, so you won't have to replace your batteries. as often. They have, I believe, a 7-year warranty on these batteries. They're going to be maintenance free once you put them in. You really don't have to do anything. They also have an app, so you can check them on your app. I also use the Power Pole Charge, of course, so I have an app on that. I can see what is going on with my charging issues, but literally I never have a problem. I plug in the boat when I'm done fishing, and the next morning they're good to go. Faster charging time, just worry-free. That's one of the biggest things I used to have to deal with. If you guys followed my channel for a long time, you've known me to have to go to Walmart at 10 o'clock at night. I remember one particular tournament on Lake Erie. We had 4 different batteries charging, 4 different battery chargers I had to buy that night. And I had like 4 to 5 hours to prepare. Didn't get any sleep that night for the for day 2 tournament, which actually got canceled due to wind anyways. But it was a hectic night. So I've had battery issues in the past. Since I've moved over to these batteries, since I used the Power Pole Charge, since we got this boat rigged properly, I have 0 issues when it comes to my battery issues. And did I mention these things are extremely light compared to other batteries that are on the market. Very easy to work with. I've been super happy with Linex batteries, and I encourage you guys to check them out for sure. All right, we got the boat back. Been using it for a few days. Motor's broken in. There's a little procedure with that. You got to keep it under a certain amount of RPMs for a number of hours, and then you have to vary your RPMs for a few hours after that, so that was no big deal. I changed out the red logos for the Mercury Pro XS to blue to kind of match the highlight blue on this boat, but that's pretty much the only changes that I've done to this boat. Everything's been working out great. The electronics are dialed in somewhat. I think I have to still calibrate one of my Garmin Livescopes, and I should also calibrate the depth on the electronics as soon as I get some time. And that's real simple. What I actually do, a little side note, when I'm calibrating the depth at the transducers, because there's an offset depending on how low the transducers are in the water. I like to go find a sandy place, calm water, you know, put me in 4 or 5 feet of water, put the power poles down, keep me in place, and then I just take a tape measure and find the exact depth. Let's say it's 5 feet 4 inches. And then I go to my graphs and I make sure that that depth reads 5 feet 4 inches. Real simple. And that's going to really help you know precisely how deep you're fishing, how deep you're running. So it's something I do with all my electronics. Just haven't done that part yet. So seriously, if you're interested in getting any of your rigging done, I would get a hold of Steve over at BassFishin Electronics. He's up in New Hampshire, and he services boats really all over the country. People do come from many, many hours away. I'm one of them. I'm 6+ hours from Steve, but he does a great job. So as well as the BassFishin Electronics products that he has to offer, and then all the different types of graphs, mounts, trolling motors, whatever. He's got a lot of stuff. I think he has a lot of used stuff that comes in as well. So you want to head on over to his website and check that out. And we're also going to try to get him back on the live show. We do our live shows every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'd love to talk with Steve and find out what he's up to, what is some of his new projects. He's working on a lot of different boats, guys. It's not just bass boats. It's any boat imaginable when it comes to fishing. Walleye guys, aluminum boats, doesn't matter. He'll be able to rig those up. So I want to say thanks really for Steve for being able to get this job done in such a fast time. I know he had a lot going on this year as far as just work. And it was really nice for him to be able to fit me in and get all this this work completed so I can get out there and do my job. Hey, we also got to thank Richie over at Thayer's Marine. This guy is the #1 boat dealer in the country. Literally. Like, I couldn't imagine working with someone else. If I'm in a pinch, if I have an issue, he's a phone call, he's a text message away. I can't say enough about Thayer's. I'm really, really happy to be associated with them, be able to buy all my boats from. This is my 3rd Caymas that I purchased from Richie. And of course, he not only sells Caymases, but you name it. Bass Cat, Nitro, Ranger, Icon, all kinds of bass boats, aluminum boats. I bought my Lund from Richie. So he does a great job. He takes care of me. He'll take care of you. Be sure to reach out to Richie if you're interested in taking a look at boats, new or used. They have a huge showroom, guys, like huge. Lots of boats. They're selling boats all day long. That's all the guy does. I go there on a Saturday. Guess who's there? Richie. Richie's there. I don't know what's he do for fun. He's just always there, talking on the phone, answering questions. But thank you, Richie, for all your help. And guys, we're gonna wrap this video up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please like and share. Leave me some comments what you think of this rig. And as always, until next time, we'll see you on the water.